Hi guys, it's Jack from Backwater Gaming again, bringing you the last part of my Battlefield 3 vehicle loadout guides, and today we're doing the air vehicles. I have previously done the infantry guide and the land vehicle guides, which you can go and have a look at on my channel. But today we're doing the air vehicle. We have three air vehicles: the attack helicopters, scout helicopters, and the jets. And since the jets are the only planes, we're gonna do them first. So you can see here, rather like the land vehicles, we have 3 slots for upgrades. So the first upgrade we can get is stealth, which basically it decreases the time you are spotted and increases the time it takes for an enemy to lock on you. I don't personally use it, but however I would use either belt speed, which reloads your main minigun faster, which can be quite useful in dogfights. So if you're going to get into a lot of dogfights, I'd recommend considering belt speed as an option. Proximity scan here though will scan infantry targets and say used in conjunction with the rocket pods, which I will show you later. They can be very good. The air radar will scan nearby air and tell you if there's enemy targets. Again, if you're getting into dogfights or you're looking to take down enemy helicopters, this can make that job a lot easier. Maintenance here though is what I would use. It constantly and passively maintains your vehicle, which can be very useful coming in and out and using the jet over the longer term. But that's something you might want to consider if you're not as good a pilot, is to avoid getting hit. Beam scanning here makes it easier for you to lock on and is good for heat seeking or laser guided missiles. So if you're not going to use the rocket pod, I'd consider using beam scanning, although like I say I would use maintenance. So we'll move on here. We'll see the gadgets or the IR flares, which is like the IR smoke on the land vehicles, although it is in flare form and it prevents you from being locked on and fired at by missiles, which is always a good thing. You can see here we have gadget, which eventually your vehicle gets past the point where you can no longer control it and it is on fire. This will releasing this gadget will bring it back from that point, and this can be used in conjunction with maintenance to keep you in the air longer, although I would consider using IR flares. The ACM jammer jams all missile tracking, so you cannot be locked on for a certain time, and this is basically for use in heavy areas of enemy activity, particularly engineers with javelins and stingers, or enemy helicopters, particularly the attack helicopters. If we move on to the weapon upgrades here, you can see we have the first one, the heat seekers. These missiles will lock on and basically track an enemy, so we'll follow them until it hits them, and they are very good. I'd say use them if you're engaging targets in the air, or even land vehicles if you're lucky. But these rocket pods are used for infantry. Basically it fires down a load of rockets that will just go in a straight line, i.e. they're unguided, and I'd recommend these if you're going to be targeting a certain capture point, say a conquest flag, as they've got a particularly wide spread and can be very effective in those scenarios. The last one is the laser guided missile. These are good for land vehicles, however you do have to laser designate them, so a SOFLAM might be good to have on the ground. When using these. So they're just a few ideas of how I would customize the jet. The attack helicopters though are different in the fact that they have gunner upgrades and pilot upgrades. You will see this in Battlefield 4. It has been confirmed that most vehicles will be able to use different gunner upgrades compared to pilot upgrades. Now, the pilot upgrade, you can see we have stealth here again. I've mentioned that. The auto loader, which I would use, which I don't think I'd use in the attack helicopters. The proximity scan, which can be good for acquiring targets on the ground, i.e. spotting infantry on the map, so I would consider this. The air radar, which is more of a defensive measure in this situation. Defensive against enemy jets incoming, but I don't think that scenario is going to happen. More likely it'd be on the ground, so I would use proximity scanner in this case. Or maintenance, which will help you, which is always good to keep you up in the air longer. The laser printer also is a very useful target, as it allows you to basically it'll automatically laser designate, so you can use your weapons, your pilot weapon, the heat seekers, much faster. So I would use these in conjunction if you are going to use them. The guided rockets also help. The guided rockets are also quite useful, and these and the heat seekers would mean you are much more able to take down enemy targets and have quite a bit more firepower. However, the gadget, I would use the IR flares as the gunner is able to use maintenance. The gunner upgrade, is maintenance. I went to the wrong one there. Basically, this will allow you not to get hit, and maintenance will take care of any hits you do take. You can see the pilot weapons here. There is only the heat seeker, so not much choice there. So if you've unlocked it, put it on. It can be useful, especially with anti-air. So move on to the gunner upgrades. Like I said, I'd pick maintenance over stealth or auto loader. Although if you are trying to get as many targets down as you can, I would use auto loader in that situation. So if we move on to the gunner gadgets here, we have zoom optics, which is good for picking off targets from afar. If the pilot wants to sit above the enemy rocket range, which is also always a good idea, so consider that in that situation. Or we have the thermal optics, which helps through smoke, which is a very rare occurrence on the ground, so I would use the zoom optics over those. So now we can see the gunner weapon. We have the guided missile here, the TV missile. I would use the TV missile because it allows you much more control. Basically, you have to guide the missile down from a camera, and like I say, it allows you much more control over the weapon. Say if a target moves suddenly, you can you can move to match that, but it does take a bit of skill, so just be mindful of that. And if you don't have a lot of time, use the guided missile. So we moved on now to the scout helicopters. These are much like the jets, and there are no gunner positions, as there are no gunners except for the obvious sitting on the side. So you can see here I used the stealth. However, I would use belt speed if I had it unlocked, personally, because after that long minigun burst, particularly in the Little Bird, it is imperative you get a next one just to finish off any targets you haven't hit. However, stealth is good for staying up in the air longer, but I would prefer to use maintenance for that. Proximity scanner is good because most likely you will be using it as somewhere to parachute down from. So if the pilot has proximity scanner, you can see where the best place to jump out is, and it's more of a team offensive measure. However, air radar is good when using heat seekers, as it allows you to find and locate anybody in the air, and allows you to control the skies. So, and maintenance again, which I wouldn't use on the Little Bird or any other scout helicopter. Now if we move on to gadgets, we see we have the IR flares, which stealth helps really counteract this. Stealth helps really counteract the need for IR flares. However, the only other one is AC jammer or extinguisher, and I would use extinguisher. The extinguisher is if you don't have maintenance, as it allows you, if stealth would indeed fail you, so you'd have basically a safety net to keep yourself in the air longer. See the weapon here, you only have the guided missile and the heat seeker. I would use the heat seeker as it gives you more of an anti-air. The guided missile might as well. So that's how I'd outfit all the air vehicles, and I'm now done this video. I'll try and get some actual gameplay out on my channel, but I think I've covered everything. If something I haven't covered in all three of my videos, please do feel free to ask. And if you enjoy this video,